We are still graphing quadratic functions. Worksheet 5.1 and 5.2 are due today. Worksheet 5.3 is due Tuesday. This is problem number 2. This is homework 5.2, problem number 5. This quadratic formula is written over there on the side board. To fill in the quadratic formula in vertex form, we need the vertex. This is the vertex. I will come back to the a in a minute. X minus a minus 2 squared plus 0. Minus a minus 2 makes a plus. We don't usually write the plus 0 at the end because it does not add any value. To find the vertex, the a, we are going to need to do the rise over the run, so I'm going to need to find another pretty point. The rise is 3, and the run is 3, so the a is 3 over 3 squared. You must square the denominator. 3 squared is 9. That reduces to 1/3. That is the equation of this parabola in vertex form. It doesn't have a negative sign in front because the graph is pointing up. In function form, 1/3 fx plus 2. Continuing with your notes, these are words we've talked about already this week. The name of the graph itself is called a parabola. The axis of symmetry goes down the middle. The vertex is this point right here, and the vertex is called h and k in the vertex equation. On example number 1, this point right here is your vertex. So the vertex is 2, -9. The axis of symmetry goes through the middle of the graph, and so it crosses the x-axis at 2. Since this graph is pointing up, this vertex is at the bottom. That's called a minimum. The maximum or minimum goes with the y value. That's the lowest point on the graph at -9. The y value also goes with the range, so I'm going to go ahead and put in the range. The domain is the same for all parabolas. The y-intercept is where the graph crosses the y-axis. This point right here would be the y-intercept at 0, -5. The x-intercept is where the graph crosses the x-axis. These points are the two x-intercepts. The x-intercepts are at -1 and 0 and 5 and 0. The x-intercepts have several different names. All of these mean the same thing. The roots are -1 and 5. The 0 is -1 and 5. The solution is -1 and 5. When we were solving for the solutions last week, what we were finding were the x-intercepts. The equation in vertex form is going to be y equals x minus 2. This is going to be your h, and this is going to be your k, and minus 9. And then we need to find the a. The a is the rise over the run squared. So the a is 1 over 1 squared, which is 1. You can write in the 1, but usually we don't. Usually we leave it out. We need to put this in vertex form like we were writing last week. So to put that in vertex form, I'm going to need to multiply out this binomial. This is not the correct way to multiply that binomial. I need to multiply it out using a box problem. And on our box problem, then we combine like terms. So the correct way to multiply that out is x squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 9. Combine like terms, and this is x squared minus 4x minus 5. That is the equation in standard form. So this is y equals x squared minus 4x minus 5. What do you notice about this minus 5? Isn't it already up here? This number in standard form is going to be your y-intercept. Example number 2, I have to graph. So the A is going to be negative 3. So I'm going to make the vertex is going to be at negative 2 and 3. Because this is a negative sign, the graph is going to go down, and so I need to find the points on the graph. The easiest way when you have an A that is not equal to 1 is to use the table. This negative 3 is going to multiply by the y values in the table. The x values stay the same. The y values multiply by negative 3. From my vertex, these are the points I'm going to put on the graph, but this one would go off the graph. So I'm going to count left 1, and I'm going to count right 1, 1, 2, 3, and then if I had enough, I might can count it, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it does fit on the graph. And so here is my graph. The axis of symmetry crosses the y-axis at negative 2. Since this graph is pointing down, this vertex point is a maximum value. The highest point right here is 3. This goes with the y value, so the range is going down this time, and it's going to have a maximum point at 3. The y-intercept is going to be right here on the y-axis. So the y-intercept is going to be at negative 9, 0, negative 9. These points right here are the x-intercepts. So that's going to be at negative 3 and negative 1. And so the roots are the same thing as the x-intercepts. And so all of these are different ways to say the same thing. This is my equation in vertex form. In order to put it in standard form, I have to multiply that out. You do not distribute the negative 3 first because of order of operation. You have to do the square before you distribute. And so if I multiply that, I'm going to have a negative 3 out in front. This is going to be equal to, from my box problem, of course, I combine like terms, and then I'm going to have a plus 3 out on the end. Now I distribute. That would be a minus 12x minus 12 plus 3 combine like terms. Negative 3x squared minus 2x minus 9. What do you notice about this number? Isn't that the y-intercept on our graph? example number 3. We don't have a graph, we just have an equation to look at. But looking at the equation, the vertex is going to be 3, -10. This is going to be the H, but this one changes signs and this one doesn't. The axis of symmetry is going to have to go through the 3, and this maximum or minimum value is going to be at -10. Since this is a positive number, the graph is going to go this way, so this -10 is going to be at the bottom. We have the same domain. The -10 is at the bottom, and the graph will be going up. This is the equation in vertex form. To put it in standard form, the first thing I need to do is to multiply this out with a box problem. 3x plus 9. Oops, let's try again, because that was a negative sign right there. So those would have been negative right there. So when you multiply that out, you have x squared minus 6x plus 9, because negative times negative would make a plus. We have a 4 out in front that we're going to distribute, and we've got a -10 right here at the end. So I'm going to distribute. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 9 is 36. Minus 10. Combine like terms. Y equals 4x squared minus 24x plus 26. This number right here will be the y-intercept if I did look at the graph.